Pretty Petty Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah. Cheryl Halsey. Yeah. Brown Eyes. What up? Oh, you up tonight, huh? T. Carey Wright. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Help me out. Yeah. What y'all got for me? Yeah. 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 What? Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Pretty Petty Tuesday. Yeah. What? What? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Urban Therapy with Sun 752. And this your daily. It's the daily go get amism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, taking off fast lane, no coasting. and everything is gonna be all right. We talking about could you stay with them just because the looks and sex tonight? Could you stay with somebody just because they were fine as hell, not regular or average good looks, fine as hell, and great in bed? No, not good in bed. No, like, yeah, they working with a little something. I'm talking about blow your top. Boom! Every time. Boom! But that's all they got going on. That's all. That's it. They show up nice. They clean up great. And when y'all get home, it's all screams and moans and toe curls and, oh my God, where they been hiding you at? But when you need somebody who has good ideas, that ain't them. When you need somebody that's responsible and reliable, that ain't them. When you need somebody that you would have children with because they would be a good person to have children with because they have a good upside, that ain't them. No, no, no. Looks and freak, looks and freak, looks and freak. That's what they working with, and they're not working with anybody with anything else. Could you do it? Could you do it? People have done it. People have done it. My people's Max. Polish Shark, what's good, my dude? How you feeling? Good to see you. Could you do it? Have you done it? Would you consider doing it again? You know, has the experience left you reeling to the point where you said never, ever, 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 ever again would I ever do anything like that? Hey, man, you know, you live and you learn. You live and you learn on these streets. In these streets. Hey, I mean, everybody's value system is not the same. Everybody's value system is not the same. And you may come across a period in your life where somebody was just really, really superiorly good looking and they had the good going on between the sheets. But everything else, like if you needed somebody for good conversation, sorry, you come to the wrong place. They're not good for conversation. They're not good for inspiration. They're not good for insight. You want to have a deep conversation with somebody or just, you know, even a surface conversation, they might not be that good for that. Now you might ask, well, how can that really be, son? Come on, man. You know, they got to have something going on. No, I'm talking about when they don't have it going on. I'm not talking about whether or not they get good grades in school or whether they were scholarly or whatever. I'm talking about they don't even seem to have good common sense. Real shit. I'm talking about when there ain't nothing left over, that shell that they are in and the thing that's within or without, that's what they have going on. Looks and sex. Looks and sex. Could you do it? Could you do it? Now, you know that there are people who have done it. There may have been a time when you did it and didn't realize that's what was going on. You don't always know everything about a person when you first get with them. So you might think that you found yourself a superstar when what you really found was you thought you had a diamond in the rough. You had a Ryman in the duff. You had a Ryman in the duff, baby. But that's what we're going to talk about tonight on the Daily Go-Getimism show. So hold on to your hat because this is going to be a good conversation. This is going to be a good conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you can find yourself actually, look, people have messed around and got married behind this kind of foolishness. You know what I'm saying? It might not have been you. It might not have been you, but it could very well be somebody associated with you. It could be somebody that you know. And anybody can get caught out there. Anybody can get caught out there at any given time. You might be at a period. You might be at a period in your life. You good? We might be at a period, and you might be at a period in your life where you were accepting of the mediocrity. but it wasn't necessarily mediocrity. It was just that your standards were compromised. So you could even argue that your standards weren't compromised. I'm talking about superior good looks. I'm not talking about when, somebody that they aight. I'm talking about somebody when you walk down the street with them or you take them anywhere, you go out on a date, people are like, oh, okay. Yeah. The kind that might even look better than you. With people like asking, how did you bag that? How did you bag that? And that's not an indictment on your looks. It's just that this ain't there's a difference between driving a Benz and driving a Ferrari. Not too many people drive a Ferrari. It's just a fact. A lot of people have Benzes. You can get cheap Benzes. You don't get cheap Ferraris. A Ferrari ain't a street car. Yes, you drive it on the street, but you know what I mean. A Ferrari, a Lamborghini, you don't see that every day. There's probably 1% of the population that's going to own those vehicles. They cost a lot. They're not very cost efficient. They cost a lot, but they're not very cost efficient. So so you might get with somebody who is more of the Lamborghini ilk, the Ferrari category, Rolls Royce type. I would say a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, because now you're talking speed. When you're talking about a Rolls Royce, you're not talking about speed. You are not talking about speed. You're talking about luxury. You're talking about prestige. You're talking about name recognition, but you're not talking about speed. Rolls Royces are actually kind of slow. Bentleys have a little bit of speed to them, and they're made by Rolls Royce. But you know what I mean. Make sure y'all hit the like button, man. Tap that like button. Make sure that it's on, not off. Make sure that it's on, not off. Could you do it though? Could you be with somebody strictly because they look good and they were great in bed? No, not good in bed. Great. Great. You know what I mean? The kind that have you walking from the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? When she got you, she done messed up your knee, brother. You know what I mean? Like, she's supposed to be the one not walking straight. You the one. What you doing to Elvis Presley? Like, nah, man, I'm messing around with my girl, who is now my fiance. We going to Vegas next month. That's going to be my wife. But why are you walking like that? Man, if you knew what I knew, then you would know what you're doing later on tonight. That type of thing where it's that serious. Yes, it's that serious. So, nobody is going to visually say that you picked a dud. But you know that when y'all get to the crib, outside of the sexual realm and the eye candy, you don't have nothing else going on. They don't have nothing else going on. So if you have dreams, aspirations, ideas, and all of that, they ain't the person to talk to about that, because they don't have none of that going on. They don't have a support system for that, for those categories. They don't have that. So you have to find another way to exist with them. But could you do it? Could you do it? Hold on. Let me put my clothes on. You know what I'm saying? I can't talk without my clothes. And put my undershirt on. Yeah, this one is my undershirt. And this one is my shirt. That's right. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. We need that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get back into the algorithm. Getting in the algorithm on YouTube, that's like getting in somebody's good graces. That's like getting in the good graces of a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? It don't cost y'all no money to help me out. So please, please help, contribute. Let's go there. Let's go there. But yeah, could you be with somebody strictly because they're great in bed and because they look good? I'm talking good. I'm talking like, you know what? I'm talking like, yeah. Let me put y'all necklace on y'all. I'm not doing the vote no more. You know what I mean? That vote be killing me. So let me put y'all necklace on. Put y'all necklace on you right there. Okay. All right. Yeah, looking good. Y'all looking good. I'm gonna tell you the kind of girl or the kind of man that I'm talking about. I'm talking about. Hold on. Yeah. I'm talking about when you look good like that. That's you. Not the person in the picture. You with the drip on. You with that necklace on, looking good. You see what y'all look like, ladies? Pretty, beautiful, gorgeous, sexy. You know what I mean? Elegant, sweet. You know, a true natural beauty. Brothers, you're looking handsome. You're looking fly. You're looking debonair, suave. Got your smooth stuff on. I'm talking about good looks like that. You know, when you get with somebody that looks like that now you know. Now you know. Take a screenshot or give it what you got, or take a screenshot. Or yeah, you like it a lot, or take a screenshot. Yeah, you know how it go. You was rocking on the DG show with your man. Oh, Cow Bones in full effect. So you know, like I said, man, you know, when I'm talking about for this show and for this scenario, I'm not talking about somebody with average good looks. I'm talking about, would you be with somebody strictly because they was ridiculously beautiful and great in bed? Like the looks actually, the looks actually match the sexual activity. Now, of course, some people are going to say, well, you know, sex is not everything. With this person that I'm talking about, it is. It is. Like, ladies, this one not going to leave you high and dry. This one is not going to bail out just when it's starting to get good for you. He's going to finish the job, maybe multiple times. He might have you doing things that you never thought possible. You know what I mean? You won't have to wait on this one. He knows how to use the drill right. Cordless and electric. Maritza Allberg. What up, Ritzy? Pizza Allberg is in the house. Was good. Mark Kelly. Oh, okay. Okay. What up, Mark Kelly? What up, Shirley Shore, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world? Shirley Shore, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. And I don't know. Wigger. Somebody named themselves Wigger. I don't know. But yeah, that's what we're talking about tonight. Okay, Max says need at least some sort of friendship to be there for sure. Well, they may try to be your friend, but the thing is, you may realize that they just don't have the type of, they might not be able to be the type of friend that you need because they just don't have the same, they don't have the ingredients that you need for friendship. They don't have the ingredients. They may have the effort, but it ain't there. You know what I mean? Like, let's say, Max, you impress me as the type that might like to talk about, you know, some things that don't come up in everyday conversation. Maybe the sun, the moon, the stars, maybe, you know, the theory of creation, you know what I mean? Whether or not dinosaurs really roam the earth and things like that. You know, you may wonder about those kind of things. Smart shit. They can't go there with you. They can't. And God forbid you should start talking about politics or any other type of current events that aren't celebrity related. Ain't going to work. Ain't going to work. They ain't got no conversation for that. Sorry. Sorry. You got to look elsewhere. It's not here. Not here. Sorry, sir. Sorry. Mark Kelly says no, because when you're old, everybody is a hag. You might as well get somebody who's beautiful on the inside right away. Interesting. And he also says the heart and the spirit is what counts. You know that, sir. Well, that the heart and the spirit is not what counts on this show. We're talking about when you have a true beauty. Now, if you've never had a true beauty or never had an appreciation for that, I understand. But I think everybody probably goes through a period in their lives where they may really think that they could rock out with the superficial. You know what I mean? Like when I was younger, I didn't play around. I wasn't really trying to fuck around no average type chicks. You know what I mean? You live and you learn. It's not that. Let me just put it this way. It really does matter what's on the inside, but sometimes what's on the outside is the thing that attracts you or leads you toward the inside in the first place. So I'm asking about when the outside is everything. And if it's a female, the inside is everything too. And I mean the inside. I'm talking about the middle, you know? You can't work the middle because you think too little. You can't work the middle because you think too... Hold on. I got you. Hold on. You can't work the middle because you think too little. Can't work the middle because you think too little. Can't work the middle because you think too little. Can't work the middle because you think too little. Work the middle because you think too little. Can't work the middle because you think too little. Can't work the middle because you think too little. Can't work the middle. You know what I'm saying. Rest in peace, the notorious B.I.G. Hit that like button, y'all. Don't be stingy with the likes tonight. Don't be stingy with the likes tonight. Kim's Wims is in the house. What up, Kimmy? What's good? How you feeling? I hope y'all feeling real good. I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should. I know I am. And what up, Dillard B. Com is my dude. My dude. What up? What up? What up? What up? Thanks for coming through, y'all. Thanks for coming through. So I'm asking, could you or would you or have you ever been with somebody strictly because they look good and they had it going on? Not only did they look good, but they floated your boat, literally and figuratively. Now, you may have been looking for more from them, but they ain't have it. So you tried to work with what they got. Well, goddamn, she fine. A goddamn, she's fine. Hold on. I might have to play my machine. Goddamn, she's fine, huh? Goddamn, she's fine, huh? Goddamn, she's fine, I ain't worried about a mind, no. Yo, shorty got good going on. I can't help but write me another song. She makes me wanna sing every time I get her alone. I whip out that thing, Yo, and I'ma do it tonight. She might not be able to do math, but she know how to do it right. And never put up a fight. That joint is dope, whether it's dark skin or light. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. See, what we need to do is tonight, I don't need nobody to be fronting. You know what I mean? Instead of being here in the age that you are, take it back 20 years ago if you in your 40s. Take it back 15 years ago if you in your 30s. You know what I mean? When it mattered. You know, for a lot of men out there, and some women too, it wasn't even about you. You might have dated girls for your boys. Like, yo, I'm in competition. I got the flyest joint here. And she delivers. She putting out like flyers. She putting out like flyers, baby. And here you are, the beneficiary of this good power you. So Uh. Okay. All right. Hold on. What if we hear? What if we hear? I believe we have a caller on the line.
You have a call from
Caller with the last numbers 5639. Welcome to the Daily Go Getimism Show. I'm your host on 752. What is on your mind this evening?
Hola, hola. Hey, Chad. What's up, everybody?
Heavens to Murgatroyd. I appreciate you calling in.
Oh, boy, this topic.
Yeah, the topic. So what it is? What it is?
So, of course, this goes back to my 20s.
Okay.
I've had the best of both worlds, I guess we can say that. I don't know if it's the best, but I've had both worlds.
Okay.
So I dated somebody. I don't know if dating is the word because I don't know. But God, he was so handsome. And I really was like, everybody was like, oh, he's so fine. And he was. He was mixed with black and Italian. He was a very handsome guy. Mm-hmm. But I didn't like him enough to have sex with him. So I didn't know what he was working with. However, on the other side, I dated somebody he was cute. Now, don't get me wrong, he was a cutie pie, but he wasn't fine. He was cute. But that sex was everything. Now, he wasn't one I was going to talk about life shit with. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was a very sweet man. He was very sweet to me. I remember one time I was real sick. He didn't have a car, none of that. Mm-hmm. And he lived with his grandmother, probably seven miles away from me. And we had a drugstore that was probably 13 miles away. And it's in the middle of the night. It was a bad storm. He walked from his grandmother's house to that drugstore and then to my house to make sure I had medicine, Kleenex, everything. I didn't ask him for none of it. He just did it on his own. He was as sweet as he could be. But boy, it was my goodness, the sex was everything. He was nobody I wanted to have kids with. I didn't think he was responsible. None of that. I didn't think he was dumb, but he just wasn't somebody I didn't see a long-term future with. But boy, that good was good. It was great.
I'm starting to believe you.
I mean, it was and he was good for that. But, when I got tired, I was just like, okay, well, bye.
Hey, listen, now, if he was really, really sweet and he was good looking, you said, right?
Yeah, he was cute.
Okay, he was cute. And he was sweet. He was helpful. And he was great in bed. So he really kind of had more than just looks and sexual ability.
He did, but he didn't fit into my square at the time.
Okay.
He wasn't, when I'm with my cousins and we just laughing and having a good time, joking and stuff, he fit into that world. But when it was time for us to get down to business and really talk about mature stuff, he didn't fit in there. He didn't have, he just didn't have the same knowledge we had. And of course, in hindsight, I think maybe I probably could have taught him some things and brought him into the fold. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I was in my 20s. I was still very immature. I wasn't trying to teach you nothing. You come give me this dick. and we can talk about shit later. That's just how I felt about him. I mean, and I wasn't mean to him or nothing like that. Like, I looked out for him, he looked out for me, but when it was this time for business, he wasn't the person I talked to. Like, I couldn't sit and have conversation. And don't get me wrong, he weathered some storms with me. I will say that he weathered some storms with me that I don't know if everybody was strong enough for, and he did. But he just didn't have. He wasn't dumb. He just didn't have the same conversation or drive that I had. Like, at this time, I'm a mom, so when it's time to talk about business and making money, that's where my conversation is, and he wasn't there yet.
Hold on a second.
You have a call from
Troy. Go ahead.
He wasn't there yet. I know it's probably Troy, but he wasn't there yet. What's up, Troy?
I just want to say, I know it's probably Troy. It could have been Mr. Good,
but it wasn't. I mean, where's the lie? Because I already knew. As soon as I saw you come into the chat, I said, "Yep, here you go with his bullshit."
She got you. She got you on a. She got you on a special. She got you on a. She got you on a special ringtone.
That's what I know.
The ringtone was
gathering his little bullshit jokes now, so I already know what he is. In any case, this dude was cool. Huh?
I was like, damn.
Go ahead. Finish the story, Kim. Go ahead.
I got to hear the story.
In any case, he was a good guy, but he just didn't have any drive about him. Like I said, he was a sweet guy. He hustled a little bit, and when he made his little money, he came and got me whatever I asked for and didn't ask for. But he just was good for he was eye candy a little bit. Not everybody thought he was. Well, some of my friends thought he was fine. I just thought he was cute. He wasn't fine to me. He was just cute, and he was mixed. He was Puerto Rican and black. So he was attractive, but he wasn't fine like the guy who was Italian and black. However, he just didn't have any drive though. He just, like, if we talked about the future, he didn't talk about the future. He talked about right now. I'm like, so what you gonna do, when this hustle dries up, what you gonna do? I don't know. Oh, I'm through talking to you. Think I'm a mama. What I look like talking to somebody long term who don't know what he gonna do next? No.
So he didn't have no kids or nothing?
Nah, he didn't have no kids.
Okay.
And he was good to my son. Like, if he went shopping, my baby went shopping. Like, my son's father always had an issue.
This dude does not fit the bill of this show. I'm sorry.
Why not?
Because he got more going on than just looks and sex.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
It's just about the looks and the sex. And all that other positive shit don't mean nothing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? This motherfucker, you know what I mean? He looking out for me. He looking out. He hand delivering products and shit and shopping for kids, good with kids. Like, no, I ain't talking about nobody good for kids. Are you crazy?
Okay, so there is another guy who was just about sex. And I didn't want him to meet people or nothing. He just was good for what he was. He was handsome, and it was just sex, but he became crazy, a stalker. But for a few years, that's what we did. We'd meet up, but he popped up at my door one night, and I was like, oh, now my family's here, and you meeting people. Oh, you messed this up, sir. And
wait. If he was handsome, why would that mess things up?
No, because he had a purpose, and that was one thing. He is not somebody who wanted to meet my people.
Oh, okay.
Because he was a liar.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna waste my time with you. You're a liar, but come give me some.
But
So
that's the people we want in the conversation. He was a liar, but he was. That's all it was. That's all it's about, right there.
Yeah, that's all it was supposed to be. I remember one time we were out shopping and we were at like AJ Ryan's, TJ Maxx or someplace like that. And my friend and I went in and I seen her. I was like, oh, I hope he don't start his bullshit. And next thing I know, I was so embarrassed because he was like, hey, Kim, look at you in that red outfit. Oh, girl, I was like, oh my God. I was so embarrassed because people are looking at us all crazy. And then my friend just walked away and left me with his perverted self. And I'm like, you made me feel like I'm being molested. And you left me standing there with him. Why would you do that? And now, as we move forward, like, he has been the butt of jokes for so long because he's always writing these weird songs and sending them to me. And in conversations now, he says things to me like we were in a relationship, and I'm like, dude, we were just fucking. What are you talking about? But in his head, we were in some sort of relationship. But he wasn't for that. He was just for some goodies, and that was it.
Well, that is a form of a relationship, but
no.
But I understand what you mean.
In his mind, you always be his lady. In his mind, you always be his girl.
Stop it already.
Up here, you must be messing with some plumbers. I see.
Well, I mean that's look. We talking about, would you stay with somebody strictly because they look good as shit and they blowing your top off sexually? You know,
I wouldn't do it now though.
Oh, well, of course. Probably not now. But then again, you got some cougars out here claiming that's what they into.
Mm-hmm.
They be lying though. They be lying. They be lying. But yeah. So, you know, when you really get into this topic, you realize it's not as easy to just stay with somebody or even find somebody that fits those two categories. But there may have been times in your life where you could have narrowed it down just to sexual activity. Plus, they look good. You might have got with them because they look good, and then you know when y'all hit the sheets, you realize like, wait, this shit actually this slot machine actually pays off. But then you realize the buck stops there. We're not going no farther. Like that's it. That's it. Wait, that's where we are with it. So let's get into it. Troy, what you know?
What's going on with you, good brother?
Man, I'm feeling like a real man should. I'm good.
Okay. Well, you know, I've been there before, like Tina Marie, So I mean, it's just amazing, to hear this perspective of a female, and the ad libs.
The baby.
The ad libs. Woo! Yeah. Woo!
Shit.
God damn. I was like, shit. That was, but let me see. I've been here before. Maybe once or twice, man. Yeah. Yeah. That's just a certain one of them, because it's, but see, I'm one of them people that I'm the opposite version of that. I'm still going to try to look out and try to do small things. You know what I mean? They didn't fit that. They fit the description, but I didn't fit the description. Like just using it like that.
Okay.
But they fit the description. If that's what they want, okay. Well, still want to go get something to eat. Gotta eat.
Well, no, because the only way this works is if you.
It's just for that.
No, is if you were in the mindset of they are only good for this and that. You know what I mean? And
Well, I had one like that, and that was in my earlier years, like what 21 and 22. That was it. It lasted for about 2 months, and that was it. Over.
mm-hmm.
I think I had this little sign of maturity kick in, and I was like, no, I gotta be more than this, man. I mean, I want more. Just a little bang out of life. You know, it was fun. It was fun while it lasted.
Well, how long could something like that last?
It could last for a long period of time if you allow it to, but you still, as you get older, you gonna want more. You need
No.
more.
What I'm asking you specifically, how long did it last with that person?
Up 2 months.
Okay.
2 months.
Because we want to see. Hold on. Let me explain something. Because we want to illustrate, how this thing goes or could go. You
want adjectives.
Well, think about what we're talking about. All right, like look at the poll question. And y'all lazy on the poll question tonight. I don't know what the hell's going on. Could you or would you stay with someone who was only fine and great in bed and nothing else? But the key word is would you stay, not get with, but would you stay with? So how the length of time that you stay with somebody is very important, because it's just like holding your breath. You could do it for a couple of minutes. After a while, you got to breathe or die. At the very least, become unconscious. So, so when it comes to dealing with somebody that really doesn't fit the bill of what you value in a person, how long you can do it says a lot about you. Because some people have been able to do this shit for years. For some people, this is their entire MO. Motherfuckers have got married behind this shit. Straight up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Just like them songs you be singing. Hold on. Just like them songs you be singing. Long as I put the food on the table, long as I pay the bills. Yeah. Some people can narrow shit down to just, all right, that's your worth right there. Fuck it. I could do it. But as we talk more about this, because I've thought about this shit, we're going to challenge a lot of the shit that people say that they could do, and a lot of the values that people place on this kind of thing. This is not a surface conversation, for real. This is going to get deep in just a few seconds. So, like you said, it only went down for a couple of months. All right. So I want to switch this up a little bit and ask: has any of you, and I'm talking to y'all in the chat too. By the way, make sure y'all hit the like button. Y'all hit the like button. I appreciate it. Hit the like button, tap that thing. You might have came into the room, forgot about it. Just started listening, assessing, deciding whether you wanted to be here. Not if you're still here, hit the like button for me, please. I appreciate it. But yeah, I want to know from the people in the chat and both of you on the line, have you ever been considered to be that person that was only good for looks and for sex? Now, that's not to say that you don't have anything going on, but the perspective of somebody else may have narrowed it down for you. Like I saw in the comments, Jason was talking about how he dated a chick one time, where she was pretty as shit. Sex was all of that. But yeah, he said dumber than a bag of rocks. And he also spoke about a situation where this chick left him alone because she realized that they really didn't have a lot going on with each other. They didn't really get along that well. And I've been there. Now I don't know, but he said that she would still spin the block and come get some dick every now and then. So things like that can play out over a long time. And if you ain't careful, you might start adjusting to it and realize that, you know what? It's like a pair of shoes that are uncomfortable before you break them in. Like, these joints feel all right now. You know? So have you ever been the one that was thought to be only good for good looks and sex? And would you know? I mean, if it doesn't get verbalized to you, there's a chance that you may not have ever found that out.
Oh yeah, I have been.
Ah.
And it was his friend who told me.
Okay.
Well, have I? Yeah, once. It didn't last long.
Okay.
It didn't last long.
How long did it last?
Well, 2 to 3 weeks.
Mm.
Yeah, you know.
Now, how did you?
Because you know, it's once you start, like I said, as you start going along with that, at some point in time, feelings do kick in.
Yep.
They can.
So once that feeling kick in and you realize that that's what it's just about that, but that person just look at you as that, and it's time to bounce. I can't deal with this. You know what I mean? So that was how I felt. You know what I mean? If we can't move on to the next level, you know, and you're verbally saying that now to me, you know, and this was before the days of going downtown like SUV.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so hey, oh well.
Okay.
I know in this situation I was, and his friend told me, and it's because he was really caught up on skin color, eye color. And so for him, it was like, oh my God, you have these pretty eyes in your life. I'm just all hooked on you because you look a certain way. And then, of course, when we started messing around, there was that. But he made it his business to tell his friends too much. And so one of his boys told me, like, he don't even ask you nothing about you. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, it's because he likes showing you off. Because I guess whoever he dealt with before wasn't like that. And so his thing was, yep, I can get a pretty girl and her sex is good. That's how he looked at it. And that's what he told his friend. His friend finally told it. But his friend told it on some bitch shit because he was trying to slide because he heard too much.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted a sample.
Yeah. He was on some bitch shit. Because I think that's bitchy for a man, in my opinion, anyway.
I hear that.
I would agree with that. Because honestly, a man, the one that he stitched on, that's grounds for getting an ass whooping.
Yeah, I don't like it. Like, dude, do you think I'm like you just came and told me this girl stuff like a girl? Get on away from me.
You messing up my nana? Oh no, I'm gonna have to fuck you up, bro.
Yeah, running interference. You know what I mean? Creating a screen. But what
about you?
What about me? What?
Did anybody ever look at you that way?
I don't know. You know what I mean? I've never been told that. I mean, to be honest with you, I've controlled the situation more times than not. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't mean like control the situation, like on some overbearing, you know, possessive type of shit. But I mean, like, I'm the type of man that absolutely can't be with a female that he doesn't like. So there's not going to be a whole lot of times where we hanging out or getting together just to be fucking, because like it ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? It's gonna fizzle out quick. But I don't know if I've ever been looked at as the person that was just good for some dick. I don't know. You know what I mean? I've never been told that outside of being in a relationship. I mean, I ain't saying that my girl told me like you ain't good for nothing but some dick, but she might have. I mean, plenty of times, it's only like, yeah, you that boy. Yeah, it's cool. You might just be saying that because I'm the boy right now. You know what I'm saying? But I'm with all that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't above no ego stroking this shit. I'm the only man in the room. I'm that boy. I'm a king. But yeah, I'm not really. But I have been invited to a few functions. You know what? Recently. Now this is a woman I never had sex with. But about maybe 8 to 9 years ago, I was invited to a party, a 60th birthday party. I think they was turning 60 or some shit like that. So I went to, they invited me to the parties, and I really want you to come, blah blah. So I go to the party. What I didn't know is that she ain't have no dude, and she was expecting me to really be, at the end. She taking all these pictures with me and all of this.
She had a dude, you just didn't know it was you.
Yeah, this shit, by the time I figured out, like, huh? Because,
I'm the one.
This shit was so fucking ill. I was like, well, ain't this about a bitch? Like,
wait. Did she introduce you to everybody?
Now, don't get it fucked up. She was fine. She was a fine ass 60-year-old. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I was in like my earlier mid 40s. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, Joan live as shit. But she tricked the shit out of me. I'm like, so when she's doing everybody's celebrating her, she had the whole shit set up. She had a photographer and all of that. And I'm like, she kept calling me up like, yo, my God, come on, take this picture with me. And this one. You know what I mean? Then the leg, I'm like, now suppose I came there with a chick. Her plans would have been fucked up.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
That would have crushed her.
But the crazy thing about this is we wasn't dating, seeing each other, or none of that shit. Never went nowhere, never been to each other's crib, none of that shit.
Nothing.
So
just crazy.
I was just good for pictures. I was the picture boy.
So at the end of the night, nothing happened?
No, it didn't. And if I'm not mistaken, at the time she was celibate on some old, you know what I mean? The cookie was.
She tried to break that. She tried to break that night.
No, I don't think she was trying to break that night. Because I mean, I'm thinking like, might as well get something out of the deal. And at that time, like messing with a 60-year-old, that was way past my. That would have been the oldest. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, that's the only situation I know of where it was something like that. But it wasn't because of the sex. I mean, I couldn't tell you nothing about that. She couldn't tell you nothing about that on my end. But like I said, I wasn't dating her. I just got, yeah. So that's the only, I mean, and I've been invited to a few functions or whatever where maybe whoever they was messing with wasn't the right dude to bring around their peoples. You know what I'm saying? And when I become the boy that know how to act after I stop drinking, I guess.
I've been around you when you were sick. You never really
Oh no, I fucked some shit up. Boy, I fucked some shit up because no, first of all, I don't grip the glasses tight enough. So I didn't spill shit. I done fucked shit up, you know what I mean? Yo, sometimes I think about some of my drinking mishaps. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah. Yo, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I'll send you a check. You know what I mean? But anyway, so that's the closest I know about that.
That is crazy too sometimes because people think, I think sometimes men think that women just, we are good with whatever because the guy looks good or the sex is good. But sometimes it's little things and we like, oh, he's just for this. I don't want him around people like the guy I was talking about. The sex was okay. I don't want him, but he was cute. He was fine. But I didn't want him to meet my family because he lies so much. And I was like, I don't like you like that because you're a liar. I don't want you to meet my family because you lie so much. Like, I don't want to go out with you. I just want to do it with you. That's it. But, so, you know, and I know there are men who think that women like, oh, because he's fine, or because he's nice looking, or all because his sex is good, then we are good with everything, but we're not. And in all honesty, sometimes we're probably a little more relentless than guys think. So.
Yeah. Like I said, I've seen people submit to this, and people have even gotten caught out there. You know what I mean? I mean, because this can be really, really, this could really come down to like the trophy wife or the trophy husband. People do it all the time. Now, but it says a lot about a person that would keep somebody on the roster, you know, for this purpose. It says a lot about them. But this thing happens. This is a real thing. And it can happen to different people at various times in their lives and shit. You know, you might be ready for one thing at this point in your life and not ready for another thing. But I want to address something. Because, you know, when you think about if you were with somebody like this for a certain amount of time. What up, Varshay McDonald? What's good, ma? If you have the chops to stay with somebody for a considerable amount of length of time, strictly based on sex and looks, and this happens to a lot of people. This might not happen to y'all progressive ass, you know, people on the line and in the chat, but you know what I mean? Out there in life, this shit is this shit happened. This is what the clubs are for. You know what I mean? Really, this is what the clubs and social media and shit was founded on. So what you have to ask yourself is this. A person, do you think that you could expect loyalty or faithfulness? Let's put it that way. Do you think that somebody that was only good for sex and looks could be faithful as well?
Nope. And that's exactly what I was getting ready to say to you, because I was getting ready to bring that point up, because if that's just the point, then pretty much you might be considered the side piece. You know what I mean? Because if there's no emotion or no type of relationship thinking on that aspect, then they might already have a relationship right there going on.
But hold on, Troy. You have to consider you're the one that has the problem with them not having anything on the inside. I didn't say that they have that problem with you. You may be the one that actually has substance. They're the one who don't. So they may not have the same reason to cheat as somebody else might. So I think it's possible that they could achieve faithfulness. But then again,
you know what? It can go both ways, because it could be the type of woman that be like, you know what, I don't want to settle down. I just rather just be this type of person. I mean, it could be.
Because it kind of depends on where they are in their lives too.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? If you're able to find that out,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But what do you think, Kim? Do you think somebody like that could be faithful?
That's a tough question because I've been on both sides of it, and I wasn't unfaithful to anybody when we were messing. Like, I don't believe in sleeping with.
No. I'm asking, could they be faithful to you? Not you to them. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking about it because
don't jump ahead. Don't jump ahead because I ain't finished. Now just follow my lead.
Okay.
Before I pluck you in the forehead. Don't play with me today. All right. So, like, do you think that that it's possible that they would be faithful to you? Because I mean, for all you know, even though you're looking at them just for looks and sex, but to them, you might be everything to them. It's possible anyway.
Yeah, because
have you ever
looking at me like that? That turned into a stalking situation, even though he was with me for that reason. He still turned into a craziness. I think they would have a hard time being faithful because if there is no attraction, I don't know. That's a tough one because I like to say yes, but that's not always true. Like anything can happen when it's between a man and a woman, and we all know if you mess with somebody for so long, feelings do get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how stalkers are developed, in my opinion. Sometimes, and yes, that person could cheat per se, because is it cheating really? Are they being unfaithful if the relationship is just based upon sex or based upon looks? There's no cheating there. There's no nothing there. So there's no commitment there. So that's hard to say. You know what I mean?
Well, so who says that there's no commitment or anything like that?
Well, that's true, because it could be, because I was committed. And I was only committed in the sense that I'm not sleeping with nobody else. So there's that. That's not an easy yes or no, because I think it really depends on the individual situation. Each situation is going to be different. It depends on the conversation you have. Like if the conversation is, hey, this is how we doing, but we are, we're committed to each other because I don't want you to bring nothing back to me, yada, 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 whatever the reason may be. If that's the kind of conversation and it's a commitment there, I could see it that, but sometimes there's no discussion in that. Like in my 20s, it really wasn't a real discussion. Like we didn't sit down and say it, but it was like, I'm sleeping with you, so I'm sleeping with you. That's it. I don't think he was sleeping with anybody else, but he didn't know that that's how he was to me either. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not an easy one, because I just think it's an individual situation based kind of thing, because everybody has their version of what it means. Everybody doesn't have the same version of what cheating means or what stepping outside of the relationship means as well. And when it comes to a situation that's just based upon sex or looks or what have you, that's a whole different ball game of what it means to be involved with somebody else or to cheat or step outside of XYZ. So I just think that's an individual thing. Is it possible? Yes, but it's also not possible. It can be two things at the same time.
All right, let me turn up a little bit. Do you think that you could be faithful to somebody who you only really like for sex and their looks? And when I say you, I mean yourself personally. And what do you think generally?
So I don't think for a long term. I don't think for a long period of time. And when I say long term, my long term is definitely not 2 months, 3 months. My long term is when you start adding years to it. For some months, I could see it. Maybe a year, I could see it. But after a while, the brain needs stimulation as well. So that's where, for me, things kind of get rocky because we can't just do this and it satisfy me. So I don't think for the long term. I do think, well, I don't believe in stepping outside. I believe in having a conversation. So for me, it was, hey, this is not going the way I need it to go. So, I don't believe in that. That when you got to sneak around and do stuff, it causes wrinkles. And so I didn't want to do all that. Plus, I don't keep up with lies. That's too much work. So I just always believe in having a conversation. Let's put it on the table and wipe it out. But in general, I think the average person will be more inclined to just do whatever they want to do and make it secret. Because sometimes people are greedy like that. And selfish like that. Or they just haven't had a mature conversation in there. And I think that's part of it too. No one wants to have a real conversation. Like the average person does not want to have a conversation that says, hey, I dig what we got going on in the bedroom for real. And I want us to keep it like that. I don't want to be committed, but I want to be committed where this is just us. But I don't want to be committed where I'm dating you. I want to date other people, but I just want to screw you. People don't want to have that conversation, and they think it's not a real thing, but it exists. People do it, but it's not a discussion that's had. So,
okay.
Well, I think you just touched on it. The lines of communication need to be open, because if I'm the person, if you ask me the same question, I might not sleep with nobody else, but I'll conversate with other people. You know what I'm saying? Because if there's not a communication of there's some type of loyalty or we're just doing this within each other, but we're not in a relationship, then there's no relationship. It's just a sexual relationship. Yeah. And if that person is saying, no, I'm cool, I don't want to go to that next level, then you won't be out there. It opens up the door for you to go out there to talk to other people. Not so much groove, but just talk. You know what I'm saying? And to me, even just having a conversation breaks that foundation up somewhat. Because if you're talking to somebody else on grounds of wanting to be just talking to them, and that grows and then nurtures into something else, then that one you just look with that's just pretty and you just having sex with, it's pretty much going to go down the drain at some point. So there has to be.
Go ahead, Troy.
It has to be a line of communication. The ground rules need to be laid. What are we doing here? And I don't. I mean, it's not going to last. It's not. That shit ain't going on for no year. It's not even. Matter of fact, not even that many months. You know what I mean? 2 months was my limitation, but even then, that was too long. Because there has to be some type of growth. After a while.
You touched on something when you said about if you are having sex with this person, but you're talking to this other person mentally. And I had a friend who, when her husband cheated on her, she opened up that he had cheated multiple times, but she was like, she knew it was over when this specific woman, they had conversation. It was not about sex. It was conversation and talking about dreams and goals, and she said she knew that's when she had lost them, because that's the part people don't want to talk about either. It's not, when it comes to that, sex is sex. That's it. I mean, it's just a reality. Sex is sex. But when you start adding in mental and real talk, real mature grown people talk, that changes things. And it's easy to stray away when it's so much more involved, you know?
I don't know. Yeah.
Even when you're in a relationship with somebody and it's not great, when you start having a conversation with somebody else about your relationship and you start laughing more, and now you're talking about just little bitty things. It's those little nuances that lead you away to something else. That's why when people say, well, dating, like I have friends who believe the relationships don't count unless you're married. That's the only time the relationship counts, is when you're married. And I'm like, so it doesn't count in the lead to being married? They're like, no, it doesn't count until the day you get married. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me, because they're like, you're free to date as much as you want to until you actually walk down the aisle. And I'm like, how do you get to that point if you're dating? Because if you're distracted over here, it's impossible for you to focus over here. And that doesn't make sense to me. And I think that's that we're taught that, hey, you have to get married, and this is the only relationship that means something because it's ordained, and the preacher came in and you did the Bible and God said and blah, 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 and this is the only thing that matters. And I think that's why a lot of relationships are screwed up now, because we have been this has been burned into our souls that this is the only way it has to be. And that's why so many relationships fail, because we believe this lie, in my opinion. We believe this lie. And it's more to it. It's a lot more, especially now at our age. It's a lot more to dating and being in relationships than those things. So we have to be more focused and not just believe the delusion that, hey, a relationship only counts if you're married.
So that's all well and good, but I could put up with my girl having any conversation. I don't care if they talking about the future, kids, and none of that shit. You shoot up her place, that weighs heavier than me. I mean, I understand the whole emotional cheating and all that shit, but I'm like, ain't no way that.
I mean, that's
hold on. I ain't done. There ain't no way that I'm gonna weigh heavier. Y'all going to go have a bite to eat at McCormick and Schmidt's over you digging up inside her twat all night long. I can get over that dinner. Straight up and down. I can get over the dinner like, well, but did you fuck her though? You know what I'm saying? Because look, until you,
that's what it leads to.
No, it don't always lead to that. Because if it leads to that, it would have been that. You know what I mean? You could lead off with that exactly. You know, so I'm like, yeah. Because if we talk, what we're talking about tonight is being with somebody strictly because they looks and because of their sex. So for a lot of people, sex weighs heavily in a relationship. There are plenty of relationships out here that if you took away the sex, you wouldn't have nothing, because that is what those people look at as being affection. So You know, like if like I've known men that not only were pissed off because they woman was holding out, but they actually looked at it like she must not have really loved him, because let's say you grew up in a situation. Let's say you grew up in your family and you know that your mom never held out on your dad or any other man that she was involved with. You know what I mean? They might have fought like cats and dogs, argued, fuss and fight and all that kind of shit, but they fucked. She ain't never hold out on a pussy. So you look at it like, well, you know, one clear indicator that y'all still together is sex. So you get with a woman that uses sex as a weapon or holds out because she's upset. You might look at it like, yo, this is, you know what I mean? Like this is a big deal. And plenty of women get real emotional over sex. You know what I mean? Them orgasms, you might be able to have an orgasm, go ahead and shake that shit off and go to work the next day and be all right. Some chicks, you know what I mean? That's it. Like, you damn near, you ain't put the, it's like you put the dick in the brain. You know what I'm saying? Like, so everybody is different, but of what you can't do is walk back a physical act. You can't do that, but you can walk back a conversation, because I might not know.
Can I elaborate on that when you get a chance?
Yeah, as soon as I'm done, I got you. But yeah, you can always walk back a conversation. I mean, after all, only the two of you might have known what the two of you talked about. And people be capping in conversations. Oh yeah, you the greatest one. Oh, what EPMD says, oh, you're so large. You know what I mean? All those shit. You know what I mean? People talk a lot of shit when they interested in each other. But you know what proves and solidifies that interest? Because one thing, if I don't know nothing about a woman, one thing I do know is that once y'all have sex, shit is going to change. Ain't nothing going to stay the same. So if you didn't know what irritated her before, after you have sex, you're going to find out. If you didn't know...
well, please explain to me what changes, since I'm a woman and I don't know about women. What's going to change?
All right, Kim. Let me tell you something, Kim. I ain't never been with you, but I've been with who I've been with. And this is what changes. She going instead of her beating around the bush about what she like and what she want and what she expects, she will tell you straight up and down. You know what I mean? That them cards on the table. Like before, she ain't know what you was working with and all of that shit. You know what I mean? So, you know, everything that happens before the sexual act, all of that shit is an audition. The sex is the actual play. That's lights, camera, action. Now let's see how well you do. Now, if you do well, shit ain't gonna stay the same. And if you do poorly, shit ain't gonna stay the same. Because if you do well, you pretty much might be in the driver's seat. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say, yeah, she definitely her ears are definitely going to be peeled better than they was before. But if you fuck that up, then it's like, yeah, well, you still cute, but
It's like, who the hell are you talking to?
I need a no. Yeah, you cute and all, but I got an electric bill due. You know, some shit like that. You know, but you know what I mean. I mean, I don't have these kind of problems, but I've known them to exist. So, you know, this is something that you have to take into consideration. But when you're talking about a situation, when I ask y'all, do you think that you will be able to remain faithful in a situation where you only like somebody for their sex and their looks, there are plenty of people who could do it. Hold on. We finally got a troll tonight. I thought they took the night off and shit. Hold on, let me get the fuck out of here.
You had like 3 in there.
I didn't see none. You know what I'm saying? They
pretending to be somebody else now. They tired of pretending to be Troy.
The
So now they trying to be
the trolls wasn't trolling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The trolls wasn't trolling. But yeah, I've known plenty of people who, you know, like, I mean, the sex and the looks, that did it for them. Just like, I mean, even though it's cliche, it must have really been applicable somewhere. You know how people have been saying for years, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Like, so you mean to tell me all you gotta do is feed this motherfucker and he'll be good? Well, evidently it worked with somebody.
Well, let me just say this to you. My opinion. I understand you saying that if you can get past a conversation, but when they get up in the guts, that shit fucked up. I think that once you allow a person to get into your ear, that's a problem. Once you give them your ear to conversate to, that's a problem. That's the beginning stages of a problem. Because once a person gets into your ear and get into your atmosphere and start speaking the way they speaking, that conversation goes to another conversation. And if they like that first conversation, you're gonna love that second conversation. And if you're just in a relationship if you're dealing with a female and you're just using a woman for sex and vice versa, at some point in time, those feelings for that other person is going to be there because the other person ain't nothing but a piece of ass. You know what I mean? You're having dialogue with this person and that person is piquing your interest more. You're going to the dinner and you're having lunch with that person specifically to get to a different level. The other one is just a piece of ass. So you pretty much get ready to fuck that piece of ass relationship up, or that's just gonna be a side joint, you're gonna fuck that relationship up with the other person. One or the other, one gonna go. Mm-hmm. But I do agree with you on what you did say. But there's, I think that it starts with conversation.
Yeah, because you gotta meet them first.
You know what? Hey, fucking, all right, come on, let's go.
I mean, listen. In a prostitution situation, we're not talking about that. But in any regular,
that's what I'm talking about.
But I'm not talking about that.
Conversation.
Listen, a prostitution situation is not a relationship. So but I tell you what, I would be a lot more upset if my girl paid to get some dick than if she, like, I don't know, paid to get counseling. I'm like, hold on. Wait, let me get this straight. You paying for dick? What? You know what I'm saying? Like,
sounds weird in and of itself.
But the crazy part about it is, those all male reviews and those male strippers, they be fucking all of them chicks all the time. And they not looking at it like paying for dick, but they are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If they don't think they paying, look. If they don't think they paying for dick, let me be the judge. Because they gonna get a different answer. Because the dudes, all I'm saying, the dudes who go to strip clubs, they absolutely tricking. Nobody is in denial of those dudes tricking, but somehow the double standard with the male strippers. I'm like, really? Well, I've been there. I've seen it in action. They paying for dick, and yeah, I'm just saying. And they ain't all fat, ugly, chicks the way people be trying to stereotype them. Them chicks is 4 and 5 star. I'm like, well, damn. You know what I mean? Like, you a fluffer? What the fuck? All right, but
That's
anyway.
like these girls who pay to go see Chris Brown and get his picture and do all this weird stuff with him.
Yeah,
That's
but
tricking.
that's not tricking.
No, that's just.
Yeah, yes, the hell it is.
They ain't. Then Michael Jackson was the biggest trick. Then Michael Jackson was the biggest trick we ever. Hold on. Then Michael Jackson was the biggest trick we ever saw. Then you know what I mean? That ain't tricking. Tricking is very personal. Not no. You know what I mean?
Paying to go see Michael Jackson and have him rub on him and stuff.
I mean, if they had a chance, they would have. Shit,
These chicks are paying to go sit on his lap.
Okay.
Rub his dick on their butt. They paying not for the concert. They're paying just to be in his presence, to take pictures with him and stuff. That's tricky.
Listen, women was out here. Whoa. Women was
how much money they paying?
$1,200, $1,100.
But hold on. They paid that money to go to the show.
No,
sir.
They're paying to go to experience taking pictures with him
after the show.
Who told you that?
Some ain't even going to the show. They just paying for that experience.
Yeah.
It is set up where they just pay to go meet him at whatever and get pictures with him. Let him put his dick on their ass. Let them sit on his lap.
But that's happened plenty of. Okay, all right. If y'all want to call that tricking, fine. For me, that ain't good enough. I'm sorry.
That tricking.
Huh?
I'm not calling that tricking.
I'm just saying. That shit don't qualify for shit in my world. In my world. Ain't no cameras
when you tricking this, that's penetration. There's no clothes on tricking.
Well, everybody.
Well, you can hold on. You can
go see the strippers.
You can.
So that can be accurate.
Wait a minute. You right, Kim. All tricking does not involve penetration, but it does involve a payment. But the reason why the whole Chris Brown example is not really going over well with me, it's not acceptable to me, is because first of all, it's legal. Number two, it's happening in front of everybody. That ain't the way my tricking goes. Now I can call.
Is the strippers legal?
Huh?
Is the strippers legal?
Yeah, it actually is. It's legal.
And isn't it happening in front of other people?
I'm talking about what happens after the show. I'm not talking about what happens in the show. And anybody who goes to the strip club know the tricking happens afterwards. You got dudes who go to the strip club every night. They not getting lap dances. They not doing none of that shit. They wait until after the shit is over, and then they offering that $150 to fuck. And that's how a lot of strippers make their money. Now, if you didn't know all that Lifetime movie network shit with them chicks stripping just to pay they way through college, that's bullshit. That's straight bullshit. Shit, she's stripping. I never believe that. She's stripping so she can get her kids school uniforms, so she can keep a car note and a Louis bag. That's what. Oh, and don't forget the cocaine. But anyway,
you heard Joe Levert and Chris Rock saying no sex in the champagne room.
But
after the fact,
listen, it after the show is when the show is on.
But the 1,200, my son, the 1,200, they paid for their ticket.
Listen, man. Listen, we ain't got a whole lot of time. No. Back to the matter at hand. As far as liking somebody or being with somebody strictly for their looks, you don't have to look too much farther than all of these old heads out here fucking with these young chicks. You know what I mean? This sugar daddy shit. You ain't gonna tell me that this 70-something-year-old man, you know what I mean, who got a couple of dollars is messing around with this 27-year-old because he really thinks that she's a great girl. He liked the way she looked, and she's keeping him in the game. You know what I'm
They
saying?
have a whole company called Sugar Babies just for that.
Well,
Sugar Babies and Sugar Mamas.
what
And
I'm
both are just that.
so what I'm saying is this there are plenty of people who can stomach this shit. It might not be me, it might not be you, but there's a market out there that's way bigger than us. And they might not be on this show right now. Evidently, everybody on this show, they need brains, they need ambition, they need love, they need affection, they need a clean bill of health history and all of that shit. Well, some people don't. I know one
I
thing.
always say I would like a sugar daddy, but I don't want one to do a bunch of talking to me and I got to do stuff with. Like I need a sugar daddy who just need me to call him.
You don't need you don't want no sugar daddy. You're not sugar daddy. You're not sugar daddy ready. You know what I mean? You had TVs that wasn't cable ready. You ain't sugar daddy ready.
What you gonna call him at the hospital?
My call would be like, I need one who just like he can take some compliments and I can be like, hey Reginald, your curl is good today or something like that. I don't even want one I can hold hands with. Like I need the kind of sugar daddy where I just
If
have a little conversation with
let me tell you something. If you want a sugar daddy, if you serious, you got to be willing to do something strange for some change or something weird for a beard. That's what you got. Then you ain't ready. You know what I mean? You stay in your lane. You mess around with men your own age. When you ready to ascend,
not ascend.
when you ready to ascend to the when you are ready to ascend to the sugar baby heights, you got to learn how to fry some chicken, run some bath water, get a duplicate key. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to do. You know what I mean? When you know he coming through, you run that bath water.
House up, make sure the house clean.
Yeah, and make sure ain't nobody around when he come through. Nobody but the kids, and make sure it's near bedtime. Or hold on. Sometimes he come over early because he gonna be there for a good while. So he might.
This child can't pop up at my house now.
But hold on, Kim. Hold on. See, you gotta understand, Kim is the 50 plus Kim. We need to be talking to the 25-year-old Kim, because you know what I mean?
No, the 25-year-old Kim didn't even do sugar daddies.
But what I'm saying is the 25-year-old Kim didn't know as much as she knows now. She may have still had the same type of attraction to whatever men, but you know what I mean? There has to be growth from 25 to 50. They're just all right then. So at the 50 plus Kim done already sampled what she like and what she don't like. She's too sure. The 25-year-old Kim might have been willing to try some different shit. Like, well, I never seen that before. I ain't talking about an old head, but even in the young boys, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I'm sure there was plenty of things that you hadn't done physically and otherwise at 25. You know what I mean? You might have still had a way to go. Even if it was just in the way of pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Like some things could have happened at age 30, 35 that never happened at 20, 22.
Well, that's definitely true. My son's father thought he's the one who gave me my first orgasm, and he was not. Like, no, sir, it wasn't you. That didn't happen to my 20s. It was not you.
Sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? See, so maybe he thought that you was the first one. I mean, that he was the first one to give you an orgasm because maybe you faked it for him.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't fake anything.
Well, I mean, in his mind, I think he heard something or saw something. At his age, I guess he couldn't identify what it really was. But
I think he thought it because we were each other's first and only forever for a long time. So I think that's the reason why he thought. And he also thought because we had a kid together that it belonged to him for life. So there's that too. So
Well, you one thing is for sure, you can get something wrong for years, swearing that you got it right. You can it happens. This shit happens. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you can fuck shit up for years, swearing that you got it right. But like I said, people involve themselves and engulf themselves in these types of situations for a long time. It might this ain't for you. It might not be for me or you or whatever, but it happens. It happens. And some people stand on this shit. They live by this shit. Like this is it. It's like Coke. Coke is it. And this is it. Because I mean, insecurity works in a lot of different ways. Like your insecurity might just as an example. When I say you, I mean universally. Your insecurity might be centered around making sure you look good. For some people, their insecurity makes centers around making sure that whoever they with looks good. That's they shit. It's just like the dude who likes to flash his money around and dress fly, to make himself seem like he has money. And then you have some dudes that are really bummy, but they got the best car out of anybody. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the best car, maybe the best house, and they don't know how to dress worth shit. So they like, no, my toys speak for me, things like that. So there's different strokes for different folks, but yeah, there are a lot of people who can stomach, just looks and sex. I mean, because a lot of people don't have either. There are a lot of people who are with somebody that they're not really physically attracted to. And there are plenty of people who are with people who they are physically attracted to, but the sex is just straight garbage. Straight garbage.
And I think it's unfair and selfish for people who are like that. Like, if you don't want to be with that person, move around. Like, that's my issue with that. If you don't want to be with that person, move around. Allow them to be with somebody. I know somebody right now who's with somebody they really don't want to be with, and that's just because she's went and had all these surgeries, so she thinks she's the baddest bitch, and she's not. And so, what she found interesting in her husband in the beginning, or attractive in her husband in the beginning, she doesn't find that anymore because she's had all these alterations done. So, which she makes him miserable in the process.
Yeah, that's wild.
Because she no longer wants to be with him. Like, her thing is, let's have an open relationship, because she wants to flaunt what she thinks she has now because she's had all these alterations. And so she's too selfish to allow him to be with somebody else. And I hate people like that. Men and women, I hate people like that. Because if this is not the person you're attracted to anymore, then just have a and here's where I go back to, people don't want to have the conversation. And I don't know if it's because people are scared to be alone and just want to hang on to that person, or have them hanging on until they're ready, or whatever the case may be. But it's just selfishness. And I mean, for me, especially at this age, I can't stand. I just can't stand people like that no more. Like, if you're not mature enough to have an adult conversation about what you really want, then stop talking and go somewhere and lay the fuck down. Like, them are the people who need to have the sugar daddies and all that kind of stuff, because I don't like stuff like that. Like, you should be mature. Like, who's gonna beat your ass? You gonna get a whooping and get put on a punishment because you decided, I don't want to do this anymore? I think it's just a sign of immaturity when people can't say that.
Well, I think it's easy for somebody to tell somebody else to, move around or make a change or whatever. But sometimes, even though you're in an uncomfortable situation, you realize that that's the best situation for you. Because the other person is not always the problem. Sometimes the problem is you. And even though you may not verbalize that to anybody else, you may recognize, you know what I mean? Because if somebody is not, somebody might be doing well by you and may have a lot of positive qualities about them, but I mean, they might suck in bed. It just happens. You know what I mean? And some people might find it really shallow and counterproductive to leave somebody just because they suck in bed. I mean, most people be like, well, yeah, you got to do things to spice things up. Sometimes it ain't the spice, it's the meat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the meat, dog.
You know, I wanted to go back.
Messing with it.
At this age, we can't count on that anymore.
You messing with it.
Because the reality is, that's it. Ain't none of us fucking like, well, some of us are not fucking like we used to fuck back then. You know, and some need extra shit. Now, I don't want to say which gender, but some need extra stuff, a little pill, the shot, or something like that.
I mean, listen.
I'm going to talk about you don't want to see what gender.
I know, right? But meanwhile, she just said what gender, right? But anyway, listen. If you smoked and drunk your dick dead, that's on you. You know what I'm saying?
No, wait a minute. What did you say?
Listen, long-term alcohol use and cigarettes will kill a dick. Even long-term alcohol or weed. One thing that weed smokers do not want to admit is that shit is a dick killer. It is. You know what I mean? And motherfuckers is lying. They not, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody telling on their asses. And I'm like, I knew a boy.
And alcohol.
Definitely.
And some over-the-counter medicine.
Listen, man,
and some prescription medicines too.
Listen, a dick has a lot of veins in it. You go fucking with them if you want. You know what I'm saying? You gotta preserve the motherfuckers. Preserve the Snicker bar. But anyway, so but yeah. Sometimes it's the meat, and it's not all. And that can be the male or the female, because you know some women they not working with the same product. You know what I mean? Like that geyser ain't geysing like it used to. You know what I mean? You know, I'm in menopause, hysterectomies, all that kind of shit. Now, I mean, you got and what I'm going to say this: a man should always. A man should be fucking way better at 50 than he was at 25. Because
I agree.
There's no excuse. I mean, regardless of his equipment, his knowledge of what he should do should be way better at 50 than he was at 25. Now, but evidently some.
I mean, honestly, perfectly honestly, I think when you in your at age 50 or 55, a man should be considering their own self a whore, or just be like, man, I'm a nasty motherfucker. You know what I mean?
I know.
That's what men should be at that age. Because if you didn't experience everything you're supposed to do to your woman or to a woman, then where were you locked up?
Well,
no, you're alien.
There are some men and women who are just very selfish in bed and never get past it. It happens. You know what I mean?
I don't think they even learned, if that makes sense. Like, I know a guy right now who he knows nothing about women. He's 50 plus and he knows nothing about women and the female anatomy. He knows nothing. And I'm just like, what is happening here? Like, he doesn't even know he doesn't even know the art of seduction. Like, and he didn't know it in his 40s. And I'm like, how did you exist all this time and you know nothing? And he doesn't. And he's sweet as he can be, but it's over for him. Unless he finds a woman who is just like
You just said
You gotta find him an old woman, huh?
I said, you just said he as sweet as he can be. He might be that.
No, he ain't got shit come. No, he ain't sweet like that. He just don't know about women. He's very inexperienced when it comes to women and sexuality. He doesn't know the spot. Now he is 52. He's 52 now. He doesn't know the spot. He doesn't know how to fucking get to him. You have to have a lesson with him. That is, God, them are the worst kind of dudes. They are fucking losing. And they are going to out. They need a woman who is past menopause and deep in the and I can't even say that because there are women who are past menopause and doing it like they are in their 20s. So he needs somebody who is 80 and her shit dried up. That's the only way it's going to work. Because anybody else who is active, it's a wrap for him. Because most women do not want to have to teach, especially at this age. Give you a lesson. I'm going to teach you about me, but I'm not going to give you a lesson about women. No.
Well, teaching them about you might be the thing. But yeah, like I said, there are plenty of people who have been selfish when it comes to sexual activity, and they remain so. Now, some people are selfish because they don't really believe in themselves when it comes to sex. I mean, it happens. I mean, they have low self-esteem because they know they ain't really working with nothing. And I'm not talking about necessarily size or whatever, but they, some people have resolved to the fact that they don't really know what they're doing. They don't really know how to please a woman, or they don't really know how to please a man. So they might try to keep your concentration off of that. And, sex is just a byproduct for them. You know what I mean? And sometimes you can hear it in a person's voice. You don't even have to sleep with them to know that they ain't working with nothing, because you can kind of tell what their experience has been. The same way that when people have had really positive sexual experiences, you can kind of hear it you can hear it in their conversations too. It ain't hard to know it with from it's not hard to know verbally whether a person knows what they're talking about or not. I mean, there's a certain vocabulary that's associated with people who know what the fuck is going on, and there's a certain vocabulary that people use when they really don't have a fucking clue. It almost sounds like they talking.
What's the vocabulary, sir?
Well, I'm just saying, like have you ever talked to somebody about sex or whatever, and it's almost like they speaking from a movie or from a social media page?
Yep. And the same guy I'm talking about. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Because the only way you're going to speak like that is if your personal experiences don't mirror, like you don't really know what the fuck you talking about. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You've been in school for 30 years and you still ain't learned how to do these equations. It is what it is. It's the shit that's holding you back from graduation. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, it ain't hard to tell. It ain't hard to tell. It's just like a person, talking all this money shit, and they ain't got no fucking money, because people who got money don't talk like this. You know what I mean? They just don't talk like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're just trying to join in a conversation that you really don't belong in. And it is what it is. But on the flip side of that, when we start talking about you look at this whole Playboy bunny thing. I mean, they encourage you to only give a fuck about looks and sex. And a lot of men bought into that shit. So and we're willing to pay good money to keep it up. Pay good money to keep up this appearance. And you know, you haven't to turned out a lot of motherfuckers, made them believe in that dumb shit. Everybody couldn't do it though, you know. But for those who were rich enough to have that access, you know what I'm saying, it happened for them. But yeah, they wasn't looking for no really good redeemable qualities in them chicks. They was looking, I mean, look, did she look good? Centerfold type joint, you know what I mean? Or cover girl. Yeah, and she looked like she, I don't know if any of those Playboy bunny chicks, you know, I don't know if they was good in bed or whatever, but in some people's mind, if they it's not exactly how the shit feels, it's how it looks. So they get over with that. So there's a market for people who are just obsessed with looks and may be able to extract that there's good sex behind all of that. It happens. It happens. Just because it ain't for me and you don't mean it ain't for nobody. But like I said, sometimes it's the meat. It ain't the seasoning. So you might get with a chick, you know what I mean? She working with liver. Like, oh, hell no. Hell no.
You go with the liver again.
Hell, listen, man.
It made my stomach turn.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? You might get with it. You might get with a chick that's working with liver. You know what I'm saying? But hey, there's some people who like liver. I mean, and then, you know, getting back to what we was talking about when we say that it's easy to tell a person that they should walk away or that they should explore more or whatever. Sometimes they know that they're in the best situation and whatever. And sometimes, like I said, sometimes the problem is them and they know it. Sometimes the problem is them and they know it. And I mean, shoot, they might be the one with the liver. Or the liver worse.
Oh, that might be the problem because I'm always telling somebody, just go and leave.
Yeah. I don't tell nobody to leave nobody. I just tell them to look at their situation. You know, like I said, you put that shit on a scale. This is what you like, and this is what you don't like. Whichever one does this, that's what you should go with. But that's in my mind. And I have to ask myself, have I left every situation where the bad outweighed the good? Have I immediately taken the exit? No. I did it on my own time. And I did it for my own reasons. I mean, it is totally possible to like everything about a person except for sex. It's totally possible. The same way it's totally possible to like the sex and nothing else about them. It's possible. It's possible. So sex might be important to you, but the person that you're with might be just really terrible or trash in bed. But damn, she's my everything outside of that. Like, I would never get on a roller coaster with anyone except for her. But no, I don't want to fuck. You know, he likes Stanley Roper when it comes to
Not Mr. Roper.
He like Stanley Roper or fucking Al Bundy. Like, nah, I'm good. Peg me tripping, man.
You want to come up off of nothing.
Who? Al Bundy?
Him or Stanley?
Yeah.
Yeah, so quick.
I'm telling you, man, these sitcoms had you think, you know, they always had a woman that looked like sexy and all that shit. They men ain't want none of that shit. It's funny because me and my brother, we had a theory about that shit. Like, yo, them pretty chicks, they be having the garbage twat. And they knew that shit on them sitcoms. And they trying to tell everybody without telling them.
That's why I like Jenny.
That's what they trying to say about Halle Berry.
Halle,
Remember this?
it's true. It's true about Halle Berry. She said the twat is trash. I've been saying that shit for 3 decades. It's trash. Ain't no man ever fight for Halle Berry. Even the white dude, he was like, nah, I'm good. Fuck out of here. This chick acting crazy as shit. This ain't crazy twat. Crazy twat is supposed to be spraying all over the place. You know what I mean? Making you put up with the craziness. Niggas be more than willing to leave Halle. They be like, yo, I'm out of here. Yo, I used to be with Halle. That's the fucking slogan. I used to be with Halle. Ain't nobody been able to put up with Halle.
Now explain this crazy one because that's what my ex accused me of. So explain that to me.
I'm
asking, what does that mean? He was like, you know what it means this year. Put it in the air. So what does that mean?
Well, there's a long-standing belief that the crazy girls got all the best pussy. It's not true. It's really not.
True, I don't like that.
But it is true for a lot of men. But for those men, they just like that toxicity. But because enough women have heard that crazy women got all the pussy, got the best pussy, you got chicks out here acting crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But the twat ain't matching up. Like, yo, I mean, I get it. You spray painted my car and keyed it up and bust out the windows and flattened the tires and threatened my mom and all of that shit. But this pussy ain't crazy. This is definitely level-headed twat here. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. This shit ain't matching. You know what I mean? This is a red sock and a blue sock. These bloods ain't supposed to be hanging with these Crips. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, but a lot of times it has. I've seen it be true, but I've also seen, I've seen it be true. I know where they got it from. Shit, I used to even tell the joke on stage, and the motherfuckers would go crazy over that shit because I mean it applied to enough people. But to be fair, they say that women who suffer from mental illness really do got good pussy, and I believe them. I believe them, and I think it's because they're able to concentrate more on the sexual activity instead of the other things that you responsible women allow to get in the way. Things like bills, children, ambition, life, God.
Doesn't tell your boy. I wish I could say the same for men, but men with good dick and trash dick are crazy. So,
like I said, it may lack consistency, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't apply at all.
mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, I could never put up with a situation where sex was all we had, but that's just me,
Especially today, because that's gonna get so. And nobody do it like they used to. So you have to have other stuff. Like if that's all we thriving on, I'm good. I'm out.
Well,
you gotta have so much more because the reality is when you go to bed, you're not putting in the work like you used to. Nobody is pumping and humping like they used to.
Wait,
so
Kim, slow down, man. You doing too much. Because there are plenty of men out here who they may not be doing it like they used to. They might be doing it a lot better than they used to. But I understand what you're saying. But I'm just sick of hearing women, you know what I mean, especially on the internet complaining, saying these men then need their batteries checked. I'm like, damn, man.
I'm not just saying men. I'm saying men and women. Like, I get it in, but I can't get it in like I did in my 20s. My 20s, I could go a marathon. Before now, I'm not going on marathon because I got a cramp. Get the hell off me.
Well, yeah, all right, but I mean, there was
And
more
you know,
reason.
like I know, all you gotta do is roll over in the bed and you got an 8. At this age, you know, like I know, your birthday came just like mine, and what happened? Our body said, "Hey, happy birthday, bitches," and gave us a pain, and we're like, all I did was wake up and open my eyes. Why my back hurt?
That's only, but that's only outside of sexual activity. That don't apply. You know?
But you know, when you get it in, you gonna have Ben Gay will be tomorrow. Quit playing. If you try to do a marathon like you did in your 20s,
well, I mean, but no. At this age, I'm like the only thing that you should do all night is work or get money. Because, like I said, the same, it doesn't serve the same purpose as it did before. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like we got shit to do. I don't even know. I'm like, how do we have the time to do that? Oh,
that's so true.
You know what I mean? Like what? I mean, I was still grown. I had responsibility. How the fuck? I remember.
But how can we have time then? Because we still have responsibilities. I don't even know how we had time then, but we sure did.
I remember I went to this chick crib over in Jersey when I was about 25 years old. I drove her to a house in Jersey. She played around with me until 2 a.m. I had to be up like 6. She fucked around with me until 2. And I don't mean, like, we hadn't done nothing.
No.
This bitch teased me until, she teased me until 2 and sent me across the bridge. So, had we actually done it, then that would have took me, I probably would have had to, like, wash up and go straight to work from there. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't got...
A 3 hour nap, got back up and did that Jay-Z shit. Did it all over again.
Nap? You got a nap? We didn't even do that.
Hey.
Look,
I'm glad y'all didn't.
I think I managed.
You got a good point there. That's a show. What were we trying to prove?
I'm trying to tell you.
Partying like that.
But I never really listen. I wasn't never really about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, party and all that. I did it, I did it, but not on a regular basis. Cause I was like, look, I'm better. I'm better when I'm fresh. I ain't shit when I'm tired. You know what I mean? Like I'm not, and I'm not friendly. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a friendly person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not very cooperative. I'm extremely what you call it? Uh um what is it when you rush people? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm rushing motherfuckers and shit. Like traffic is
You
not
don't have any patience.
There you go, impatient. See? I'm tired now. I can't think of words. All right, y'all. It's 4:05. We gotta get the fuck on about it. It's 4:08. Yeah, it's 4:06. It's time for us to go. All right.
From 4:05 to 4:08 to 4:06.
Listen, because I'm looking at the timer on the show. So I know I started at exactly 2. So when it says if it says 2:05, that means 2 hours and 5 minutes. So I'm thinking it's 2:05, but I looked at the clock and it said 4:06. So it's just a few seconds ahead. See, it's a method to my madness. All right, let's go over the poll question. 35 votes. Could you or would you stay with someone who only was fine and was great in bed and nothing else? 31% says yes, I have and would do it again. 57% said no, gotta have more than just that. And a mere 6% said I would trade sex for money. And a mere 6% said I would trade looks for brains. Interesting. So most of the people in this poll are either have a lot of substance or are straight shallow. Like don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? But I'll say something. I'll say something about the ones who are quote unquote shallow. At least they know what they want. All y'all people with substance, y'all all over the place. You know what I mean? Y'all are all over the place. When asked what y'all want, y'all got all of these fucking options, these tradable, interchangeable options and shit. At least if all you want is looks and sex, you can get it. I'm a simple man.
A show about that. What people, because a lot of us are single, so you should do a show about that, asking single people what they really want. That would be a great show. I would love to hear what everybody wants.
All right, I'll think about it.
Okay.
We'll get happen. Thank y'all for calling in. I appreciate you. Y'all have a good night and be safe.
Everybody, please be safe. We have some weird weather coming in, and I don't know who's going to get what because it's changed every day for the past 3 days. So just be safe, be careful, and prepare. That's all I can say. Everybody be safe.
All right. Get with y'all later. Peace.
All right, much love.
All right. All right, we have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious September 2nd, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them. Making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. My cuz of my cuz, Darwin Dysart. Happy birthday, my brother. And also Delilah Brennan, Katrina Leatherberry, La Nina De Reyes, Katrina Sally Leatherberry. Oh, there she has 2 accounts. I get it. Pebbles Johnson, Francine Jacobs, Shantae, Ebony Thompson, Valerie Labar Johnson, and last but not least, our very own Savoy Wilkins. Savoy Build and Destroy Wilkins. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious Glorious, glorious. September 2nd, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally, all of y'all go ahead and turn up. Turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out. Rock on and do the damn, to rock out. Rock on and do the damn rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, listen, man. Looks, sex. Sometimes that's enough for some people. For a more evolved person, a person that really wants more out of life, somebody who may be looking for a higher level of spirituality, knowledge, and wisdom and understanding. Of course, sex and looks are not going to be your end all be all. That does not necessarily mean that looks and sex may not be important to you, but it may not hold the same importance as it does for somebody else who may be a little less refined, less sophisticated, less evolved than you are. There's nothing wrong with liking a person for what they bring to the table. And sometimes what they bring to the table is okay. But what you eat doesn't have to necessarily make anybody else shit. It don't have to be that way. But there may have been periods and times in your life where you accepted some things that you wouldn't accept now, regardless of your age or whatever. One thing we should all understand is that we're never too old to learn. We're never too old to grow. We're never too old to change. As a matter of fact, we should make sure that we're always at an age where we can do all three of those things in a good way, in a positive way. Make it happen. Do me one favor before we get on up out of here, man. I want to say peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. I love y'all right back to life. Please hit that like button. Hit the like button. You know what I mean? It helps me with the algorithm. It helps YouTube recognize me because I'm obviously a nobody to them. But if I'm a somebody to you, please hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. It ain't going to cost you nothing. I won't contact you. Nobody else will either. But we will be back tomorrow night, 2 a.m. in the morning. 2 a.m. in the morning. 2 a.m. in the morning. Gave myself a stretcher. A morning yawning. So I holler at y'all tomorrow. It's either time to go to work or time to go to bed. Whatever you do, do it to death. But don't die. Peace. Have a good one, y'all.